Okay. All right. I believe we are live. Yay.
Okay.
Great. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Virtuous Unicorns. This is Sarah.
Hi, I'm Barb.
And we have Barb with us today. Yay. And Barb usually doesn't with us. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Barb usually isn't with us sometimes. So now she is with us today. But we have a very special person, Nichole. She's from the Telegram channel, The Breakdown 1718. And we saw her video on time travel, and it was just like sparks went off in our brains. And it was like we just needed to know a little bit more about this. And we just thought it was fantastic. So, Nichole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'm Nichole. I am no one special. I'll say it like that. All I've done is point out the synchronicities of things around us and have used Gematria to connect it all, and try to put it in a way that is simplistic, because there's too much like complicated stuff out there. And I'm like, I need it simpler. So that's what I did. Simpler so I could explain to my own kids even.
Yeah, and I mean, we think it was just great. The way you broke it down and explained it was, it really pulled us in, and we just had, definitely wanted to reach out and speak with you about it. I don't know if you want to kind of do like an overview of your original video or not, and that way kind of let people know what we're talking about today in case they haven't looked at your old video, or your other video, I should say.
Yeah, so the video you speak of, the quote unquote time travel video, I started originally with the Torus field video, and that's where my original concept was from. And the idea that, so everyone has a Torus field, which some people will call it, vibrational energy, but basically it's a Torus field, and it's constantly moving around us. And all the way from the micro to the macro, everything has a Torus field. So my concept was, if everyone has one, do they move at a different rate, to where one might be, the rate might be better than someone else. I'll just use the word better, but there's no good or bad. It's just is. So that's what my original concept was. And I thought it was interesting that Torus field came out to 129. So that's using each letter is the corresponding number in the alphabet. So for example, if you take each one of these numbers, so A is 1, B is 2, and you add them up, that's how you get this number. And then bringing it down to its smallest number starts telling us things about the world around us. So Torus field, for example, was 129, which is 12, which is 3. So we know that 369 is a key to the universe, as Tesla has said. So I was constantly looking at things around this idea of 369. But interestingly, the Torus field comes out to 162, which is 9. And 9 would be the highest. 9 is divine. 9 is outside of all other number patterns. Divine comes to 63, which is 9. 99 is always most high. So that was kind of the original concept, was, is there a rate? And just to put it in simple terms, when you see a person with a mask, they still have a Torus field, let's say, and they're still wearing their mask, for example. This is just the easiest example to show right now, versus someone that's never put one on. They both have Torus fields, but is one person vibrating at a different rate than someone else? I mean, we know this logically, but could it be proved within Gematria, was my concept. And then that led me to what's actually happening with us and interacting in this world right now, which is extremely difficult to just get along with normal life. At least where I am, it's been extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where it started. And I wanted to say real quick, so with computers, we have what's called binary code. So everything you see on your computer, or let's just take a photograph, for example, it's broken all the way down into a binary code, ones and zeros. It's just laid out this way, and that's your photo. So it's not like a picture is in your file, it's binary code. So another way of thinking of this is breaking down words to their binary code, or their smallest form, to get the purest possible connection, if that makes sense.
It does. That it does. Like we're all little computers and everybody has code.
Right. So should I just go on?
Yes, please. And then we'll just kind of ask questions as what we as they come up. I know that I have some about like time divided and whatnot too, but I know that was part of your.
Yeah, just stop me any point and ask away.
Yeah, for sure.
So we know that the earth resonates at 432 hertz. Classical music was originally written in with instruments that were tuned to 432 hertz. I actually keep my own guitars tuned to 432 hertz. It was changed later to 440 hertz, and then humans can resonate at 432 hertz. Well, my Torus field video, when I laid this all out, I ended up figuring out that the phrase "a highest possible frequency within you" equals 432. So this phrase comes out to 432. So highest possible frequency within you. Now, key to this whole puzzle that I didn't have was, what are the other frequencies then? And that's when David Straight came in somehow. I was going through his stuff and I just literally fell upon this section, and it was kind of a throwaway comment. He didn't go into it deeply, but he said, well, first let me say, David Straight has said himself, he's worked on the Trump team. He's definitely out there disseminating information. Very, very knowledgeable. You can just go on YouTube and type in David Straight seminars. There's probably at least 10 hours of his information out there. So he had thrown out this idea, or he said it pretty clearly, exactly, that humans can resonate at actually 3 frequencies, which was the 432, the 528, and the 633. Now, interesting, this would add to the 3, this would add to the 6, and 432 adds to the 9. So now you have your Tesla 369. And he went on to say that 432 was the celestial frequency, 528 was the telestial, and 633 was the terrestrial. And he just kind of left it at that. So I went digging into that. And as it ends up, celestial, meaning, when I do the etymology on all these words, celestial meaning heaven. So your 432 would be your highest frequency possible frequency within you, 432. So your let's see, what would you compare it to just you're seeing beyond the veil. That's how I've said it, is you've lifted the veil, you've lifted the curtain, and you see the little man in Oz that's doing all the speaking. Right.
Yeah.
And so that would be your 432. Now, terrestrial is interesting because the word terrestrial actually comes from the base word terra, and terra means earth. So this would be your earthbound frequency, meaning you can only see and function with what is right in front of you. A good example would just be mainstream media. You're just functioning with what they tell you. You're not going down the onion, ripping the layers off, looking beyond the veil.
Right.
So that would be your 633, which comes out to the 3. Telestial, this is a newer word. It's not an old word in this form, but tele, meaning telephone, meaning distant. So how I interpreted this was at this 528, you're neither here or there. You're distant from both.
So you're like somewhere in between.
Exactly. So a good example of that would be like a classic Republican right now. Do you understand? Like, does that make sense? Like, they're not quite seeing that there's a matrix within a matrix. And I know a lot of people like this.
Mm-hmm. They're like in the middle of the stream. They're not on either side at this point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so this led me to my time travel concept. So time means to divide when you do the etymology on time. So you have a clock. I have a clock here, and a clock is always broken up: hours, minutes, seconds. Then you have months that are time broken up. So time is always divided. Travel comes from the base word travail, meaning a difficult journey. So time travel is a divided, difficult journey. So you can see it from going unconsciousness to consciousness. You're going from the divided journey, which I'll explain what exactly is divided, to a one journey. Unconsciousness to consciousness, or the terms we use nowadays is asleep to awake.
Would you say that some of the frequencies, so like asleep would be the 633?
That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. And then of course
Because
the 432. Well, would the 432 be obviously be awake, but are you aware that you're in the 432 also?
I think that you're going to know you're here when you're capable of time traveling. And I'll explain what that means.
Okay.
From my point of view. It's not, remember, time travel is a divided journey, or a difficult journey. So I think you'll know you're here. Another way to say it is when you can travel to where other people are and you're no longer triggered.
Okay.
So if you see, a masker on the street and you have to like interact with them for whatever reason, you say hello or just you have a conversation, and you have to, or let's just say even family, someone closer, and they're still, I'm just going to use masking as the example, you still can tell that their minds are still back in time.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gone up the Jacob's ladder, the vertebrae, the rise to consciousness, the 33. They haven't done that yet. So you're able to interact where they are. Maybe you're able to get them a little bit step by step, and you have to be super sly about it,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise they get triggered. So that's what I feel like the 432 is when you're really able to, and that's what the whole team is to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can use that letter on here, but the 17th letter, can I?
Just write out 17.
Okay. So that's what the whole team is for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're they're traveling back from their knowledge to rise us all up. So that's how I see that 432. And I'll write that out. I'll show that right now. So just to take the clock here, and instead of doing it in a circle, I'm doing it in a line. And time, instead of being represented in hours or minutes, is being represented in events. So these are events here. And then I'm going to put these 633 people here and the 528 people here. So they're on this timeline, and I represented them laying down because they're sleepy. So they're going through this process of events right now, as we all have for, eons. And they're having these experiences. So at this 633, that their Torus field is vibrating at, and they can't see beyond the veil. They're just like, COVID Israel. Maybe I can't say that word either. I don't know. the cold.
The mainstream is real.
The mainstream is real. The big cold is it's all killing us. Everything, So that's them, and they're experiencing these events, and it's their reality. So it's not that it's all lies, but it is their reality. So they're just reacting within their reality. And then you have this set of people who figured out that mainstream is not real. But at this point in time, I mean, we can honestly say that alternative media is not real either. You have very little, right? Alternative media that's telling the truth. So they figured out this is BS, but they're in a new matrix. And I would even call this the white hat matrix. Even though white hats, full control, but at some point they didn't have full control. So we had a black hat, a white hat, but both of them are lies. Okay. If you think just about Trump, for example, he's not telling everyone the truth all the time, because he's helping move a certain population from one event to the next event to the next event. He would be a good example of a time traveler.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing and we're learning to do. But this group of people don't see that there's a plan, is another way to say it. They don't see that there's a matrix within a matrix. It's a double matrix.
You say they're in limbo.
Yeah, their reality is that everything the alternative media is saying is reality. And we know that there's just a lot of, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but there's like gardeners or something.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So their reality is this alternative media reality. They're not seeing the merge of the plan, and how it's been, the bad guy's plan has been completely infiltrated. They're just still living in this, the sky is falling. They're coming for us.
Yes.
No. It's been infiltrated. We can prove that, but they still want to just stay there. So that was my representation. And then we have the 432, who have done this. Another way to look at this is, this is your rise up the vertebrae, the 33, which is the physical plane, Christ crucifixion year, the 33, the journey. Charlie Freak talks really well on all that. So So they're rising up these events. And then one day they hit the point where they're like, holy cow, right? And they've bounced off of this. And now they've entered this. Now the sine wave is everything. Everything pretty much comes back to a sine wave. A sine wave is like a smooth oscillating wave. So how I'm representing this time travel is through this sine wave. And let me just show. So sine wave is 98. 9 plus 8, 17. So instead of writing this way, see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to write the cursive version like that. And what do you have? There's your sine wave.
Double sine wave.
Oh, interesting.
So here's this letter Q is a sine wave, the lowercase letter in cursive. So this is one thing I like to do is show these drawings, because the alphabet is just hieroglyphics. They're drawings and how they relate to everything else around us. So we have this sine wave. Let me just look at make sure I didn't miss anything there. Okay, so we have this sine wave. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it off to make a double sine wave like this. Now you have your eternal 8.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the people on the sine wave. We are the time travelers. And they're here. And they have this ability to jump down here and meet people where they're at in order to, go to the grocery store or talk to your family and then jump back up. But these people cannot skip the process. They have to go through the events in order to get to that right here, the eye, which is your third eye.
Now, do you think the blue people, the 528, they can see down to the red and interact with the red 633?
I think they can. I think they have a harder time of it though.
Mm-hmm.
They might be more triggered.
Yeah, more
And
confusion maybe.
Yeah, and I just see this in real life, how they're just really angry, like rightly so, but it's very hard to help get them from here to there. They're trying to wake people up to all the negativity, and that's actually a really hard jump to go from, oh, I'm living in my little bubble here and it's all lovely, to you're telling me everything is a lie and they're killing us this way or that way with whatever they're putting into us and spraying on us. And so this is a really hard leap here.
And I think a lot of us still forget that there are the 633 level of people out there too, especially as how far a lot of us have gone on our journey. And it really even, just takes a lot to step back and realize that some people are still just waking up or even starting.
Yeah, and we probably don't have a lot of interaction with them at this point because we've been so divided.
Like you said too, like the layers of an onion. It's like, how many layers down are they or whatnot too? Like, can we even still see them?
Yeah. So that's why it's difficult. It's a difficult journey. It's all very, very difficult. And this is their events that they like have to go through. And I mean, we're going to hit a point where all these events are just like smushed together really fast, and they're going to have to start learning super quickly.
That
even
brought up another
faster than we have. What was
that
that?
brought up another question. As we kind of get closer to the top of the ladder per se, do you think the events are going to start coming quicker? Like they'll be closer together instead of kind of space farther apart?
Well, I think the events already are closer together. We just perceive them as taking a long time because we don't really know what was going to be. So Operation Warp Speed, like they're speeding everything up for us. So the events are already really jam packed.
Mm-hmm. That's why we
But
feel like
are
we
they
have
going to
no
get
time anymore
what?
as well.
What was that?
That's why we feel like we just don't have enough time in the day anymore, too, probably.
Oh
Everything's
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely lost time of like, what day is this? And
yes.
but yeah, I do think that the events are going to get quick. I mean, we're seeing it. It's just getting faster and faster leading up to whatever it's going to lead up to. You can go, have speculated on my channel. You can go check that out. But so we have this double sine wave. So what's interesting is the word time travel actually comes out to 125. 5, 6, 7, 8. So you add this up, so it comes out to our eternal 8. And it's just like, wow, are you kidding me?
That's what I was saying when I was watching this. I'm like, just like my mind just kept getting blown of how everything was just tied back. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and I have a little bit of new information for you guys that was not on there.
Great.
Let me see where I can pop this new. Well, let me finish this first.
Okay.
So, also, Pisces, and this will come back to some of my new information. So Pisces is the last of the zodiac signs before we get to Aries. If we take this 8 this way, this is also a representation of the Analemma, which is the pattern the sun sketches in the sky. So Aries would be around here. So this would be the first day of the year. I'll do better drawing in just a second, but I want to just say why Pisces is interesting and all this. So Pisces comes out to 71, which is 8. So this makes the Pisces the double fish, this 8. It's also that Christian symbol. The how do you say that exactly? It's this
that I don't know.
I'll come back to that in just a second. So you can see how that fish, I'll explain how that fish comes to be, but you have the double fish. So that's Pisces, also an 8. I mean, what are the chances?
I know.
So the idea is that time is divided and where they are taking us is to oneness, so that we're all on this 432 or close to it as possible. So oneness, this eternal 8, as I'm describing as oneness, that would be your firmament. So firmament, because we are the representation of all things. So the firmament is your head. And this word broken down, firm, means stable. A is always singular. It'll always make whatever you say next 1. So 1. And ment always means mind, because ment is mental, or men meaning to think. So when you have establishment, they're trying to establish your mind, Government, they're trying to govern your mind. Imprisonment, imprison your mind. So firmament is stable, firm, one mind. Stable, one mind. That's your 432, which equals a 9. Firmament comes out to 99. Add it up, that's 18, which is 9. That's your stable, one mind, the goal. So to me, this really told me that there is a highest possible frequency within you, 432, and getting that Taurus field resonating at that.
Yeah. And even the clock, how it is separated out, especially when you lay it down that way, that's our vertebrae. And everything I'm like learning, and I'm kind of more taking the biblical type of sense, and with watching like Charlie's videos and just kind of learning about that and understanding more that everything is within us and everything is about within us. Like there's almost nothing outside of there. So the vertebrae, it's within us, and the firmament is us, our stable mind, things like that. And it just almost like everything's in us. And I was watching the video just to kind of rebrief myself, but where you talk about the Holy Grail, that is 17, and that is us. I mean, it's always us. We are the Holy Grail. And then to see this and watch us go on this path, it's just, it brings it all together. And then it's even bringing it in with the letters, as you called them, like hieroglyphics. And I even heard recently too that English is English the original language, but they've made it to be that no, it's not. But I don't know. So yeah, and then just watching how all these add up to the numbers, and then they're 8s, which are the double sine wave.
Yes. So let me go into that for just a second. So when you say it's us, right? So in Revelation, it talks about 666 being number of a man, number of a beast, number of beast, number of man. So just a reminder, 666 is 18, which is 9. 9 is always divine. Firmament, 9. You're 432, 9, right? So F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. So when you do an F like this, I've done another video on this, and you make 3 of them, 666. You have 3 Fs here. Now you start creating your square, your foundation, your Da Vinci man, the man in the box that he painted, right?
Yep.
And you have your X marks the spot. So yeah, you are, even within the alphabet, is trying to show us that this foundation, so this creates the foundation of your torus field like this. And I showed in my video that when you cut an apple open, oh, I wish I had an apple. That's what the inside of an apple looks like. But right here is your bowl, what you were talking about. Okay, because it's a hyperbolic shape. It's like a donut. Oh, I forgot to pull that photo out. I'll see if I can find it. And the reason why this is important, this hyperbolic shape, is because of the word bowl within it, which comes to 29, which is a man. Okay, so it's a hyperbolic shape. It's enclosed on itself. I will look for that paper. I know I have it here. And then here it is. I've shown this before, but so this is a hyperbolic shape. And if you can see here, you have your chalice, your Holy Grail, right? And right here, you have your 9. This is the Fibonacci sequence right here. So you have 2 9s. 90 blue, 9 the red, 99 most high. And this is your Torus field. The red shifts to the blue shift. So your bowl, a man, your chalice, which is 41, which is home. And what's home? The sound of your seventh chakra, the sound that they do when they say it's literally is your home. So that's your seventh, your seventh chakra. You've got to your third eye, which would be here, which, by the way, look at this. I is the 9th letter of the alphabet. So your third eye, which then activates your purple crown chakra, your home, your chalice, your holy grail, your home. Also notice that you have red to blue. That's your red to blue shift. Within the Torus field is a red to blue shift, and red and blue make purple. And I've showed this in other videos, but I'm going to do it here right now because I think it's really cool. So your purple is here, your 7th chakra, that's the color. Now, if you're standing under an organic rainbow, this goes like, I'm not going to pull all the colors out, but it goes like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. These are your chakras. I did this, man, not proportional. I'm sorry, but you get the point. Okay. So if you're standing under a rainbow, like just take this and inverse it up like this. Take this rainbow and just go like this. Now you have this way, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. So the bottom color would be purple. So your top chakra and the bottom color of rainbow, both purple, creating your halo, which would be your 144, because you have your 33 vertebrae that you rise up this plane into your 111 hertz. I don't want to get off topic, but this is interesting. Your 111 hertz is what your brain resonates at when you're under an MRI and you're in a meditative state. So 33 and 111 equals your 144. The 144, God's chosen people, that will be sealed in their foreheads, not on, in their foreheads. So that's your 144. And I've related it in other videos, how that relates to the 432. That's in my Torus field video. So I don't want to get too off topic, but yes, that's your, everything is you. Your home, your chalice, your holy grail is within you.
Yeah. And those numbers you just did too, the 144, 111, 33, what do they all break down to in smaller numbers? As Tessa said, if you understand 369.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, there you go. 6.
I did see your other video too, though, but
9. I know, isn't that fascinating?
So awesome.
Though?
Yeah,
It was one day I woke up and I was like, wait a second. No way. I was like, duh. Also, what breaks down to this 369 is, this was my other aha moment in the middle of the night. I was like, are you kidding me? I did these numbers so many times. The EOs 13818, 13595, and 13484. I believe they all are. Also, each one of those equals 3, 6, and 9. Those 3 most important
the keys of the universe.
Exactly. So that's like, when they say they're time traveling to us, they're time traveling to us. And now we're trying to time travel to other people, or even me trying to time travel to these people, going, look, there's a plan. Look, there's a plan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And how we do it delicately too. is the same as what the team has been doing, is trying to spoon feed and show things and whatnot for people to really kind of wake up. It's I don't know if you ever hear our shows that we do with or I do with Toni Weel about the health Q&A, but we get questions like, how do we wake people up to eating fruit, or kind of being on a more high fruit diet? And it starts out very slow, just maybe don't take everything away from them, take away the fats and stuff like that, and then just take baby steps with them. But I guess it really just depends on how urgent the need is too. And with all of this too, with the time traveling, like, where are we in the urgency of where people need to wake up? And are we still wanting to spoon feed, or do they really just need to be shook and awake, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's up for them to decide. What I've noticed for myself is it's a little bit easier to speak positively than to speak negatively. So if I'm just going to say those things you're taking are going to kill you, they're going to turn off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I say, hey, new financial system is up and running, you interested? And because people tend to be drawn a little bit more to money and what's going on there, I've been able to flip a lot of people by going that angle first.
Mm-hmm.
And then going, because I can prove it. I can prove it through articles and going back through time and all public information. So they're like, oh my gosh, this really is happening. Wait, then that means blah, 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 blah. But also working with kids, it's the same thing. If you want to teach them the positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pointing out the positive, I think, has, for me, been more helpful than just focusing on the negative.
Right. And like avoiding the scare tactics and whatnot. And the one thing you said is, being kind and showing the positive side of it too. And I think that's another way of knowing where you would be, whether you're on the earth, the distant, or the heaven frequency, is, are you able to do it in kindness? And I believe that the only way you're going to make it to the 432 is if you are a kind man or kind woman, in order to get there too.
Yeah. And trust me, there was lots of times I was not kind, especially if like someone's stepping on my toes. I'm like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely trying to shake it all up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just super, super frustrating, but we all have our journeys.
Absolutely, we do. Our experiences, our journeys, and whatnot on these. And this just totally, it all just clicked as you were saying it. It was just like I was being shown, the keys in the back of the book or something to the answers, that they were all there, but they were never brought together,
Mm-hmm.
to make it make sense, I guess you could say. And I mean, I think you do a brilliant job of explaining this.
Well, thanks. I'd like to show you guys, if you're up for it, how the
Absolutely.
Analemma plays into this, because this
Absolutely.
is more of this blew me away more than anything else, is understanding this. So I don't know if you guys saw my Analemma video.
I have not yet.
Okay, so this is super exciting. So the sine wave is everything, really. And Santos Bonacci is excellent at teaching this, but it's like you need an interpreter to understand what he's saying. So it's been a year it's taken me to learn what I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to break it down so easy. But I always hate erasing things. I'm like, oh,
I know, it's
I'm
so
like,
nice.
I'm like,
Screen grab it.
okay, here we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Hi.
Well, it is recorded, so.
I know. It's silly. There's no.
Uh,
Okay, so the Analemma is it's the pattern the sun etches in the sky. If you were to look up and take a photo at the same time every day for a year. So I take a photo at 3 o'clock of the sun, and then the sun would be here. Take a photo the next day, the sun would be here. Photo, snap, 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 snap. And you keep taking this photo, and I'm gonna draw it this way. And this is what the Analemma sketches in the sky. A sine wave, a figure 8, the eternal 8.
Yep.
And so you're taking these photos of the sun. And so the sun comes up like this. You see those dots?
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes like this, and then back down like this. So here's December, and here's June. So you have your solstices here. Solstice is when the sun pauses, takes a pause before it moves in the opposite direction. So what's interesting about the Analemma, and that goes back to a few things interesting, but that fish that I was telling you about, it's just, how do you say that? It's this ICHTHYS. So it's this fish like this. So you have that right here. And what is actually right here on the Analemma, on the sun, is the equator. So this would be the proper way to draw that fish, starting here, going up and down. So now you have these 2 points that are at the equator. And this would be March and September. So this is your equinox. So this is the Tropic of Cancer up here. And then as it comes down like this, you have the Tropic of Capricorn here, and the equator in the middle. So this fish actually points us to the fact that this tropical astrology is extremely important. It's showing us. So this would be Aries here in March. And when I was saying in my other drawing is Pisces is the end. Pisces would be here. So you have the beginning of the fish starting at the equinox here, going to the next equinox, starting in March. So this would be your true calendar years, March being the first of the year, and then going around then to Pisces.
Pisces
So
is wisdom and end of a cycle.
yeah, and in your body, Pisces, so your head is Aries. So this would be your head, Aries. And then down here, the 2 fish, Pisces, would be your feet. So, and then through your whole body is the rest of the zodiac signs. So you have the 12 zodiac signs and the sun, S-O-N, 12 disciples, and the sun, S-U-N. So what's interesting about the Analemma is it actually comes out to 60. Okay, which is holy. And it has 6 important dates on it. Both the solstices, both the equinoxes, September and March, and then this point right here, which is April and August, the only time the sun is in the same spot during the year. I have a 3D model of the Analemma like this, and I have a video on this. So if you can see that. So the way the sun goes is, let me do it on here, is it goes. So if I was to take a photo here, the yellow tabs would be the sun, me taking a photo of the sun. It's going to go around the earth and then snap a photo around the earth this way and then snap. So this time was in the day. This side would be in the night. Around, snap. So it's moving up and it gets to the top and then it starts to go back down. So it's going like this. The sun. It's contracting and expanding. It's breathing.
Oh, wow.
And H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, and H is always a representation for breath, because hallelujah and halitosis.
Mm-hmm.
H is always breath. So the sun is breathing on us like this.
Mm-hmm.
So the importance of this symbol being at the equator. This is, I'm telling you, brand new information. I haven't even done this part of it on a video yet. So equator actually comes out to 97. What also comes out to 97 is 60. Yeah, 60 spelled out. Your Analemma, holy, the beginnings of your fish and ending, starting on the equator here. And that's that sun pattern.
Wow.
So right in front of us is telling us so much. Now, this from top to bottom is 47 degrees, which would be your 11, but also 74 is Christ.
Mm.
Now this from the width here is, I want to make sure I say the right number. Yeah, 32. And this width here is 16. So now you have 7 and 5, 57. And pineal is 57. So your pineal gland being your third eye, being that activation into the 432. This is showing us about the pineal gland as well. And gets even better is the Christmas tree tradition started because of the Analemma, because you have the small top and the wide base. It was your breath, your expand and contract. So that's why the Christmas tree tradition started. So the Analemma comes out to 93, and a pine tree comes out to 93. And what's on a pine tree? A pine cone, which is always represented by, your pineal is represented by a pine cone.
Wow. It's been in front of our face the whole time, and they've hidden everything from us, but we've been lied to we have no idea how long we've been lied to.
Yeah. And it's so simple. I know that when I first say it, it seems complex, and I'm trying to break it down as like simplest way possible, but it's so incredibly simple that it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And the truth within it, it's like, you can't deny the truth within that.
How many coincidences can there be? It's all here and it's within us. It is us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So definitely encourage people to watch my Analemma video. I have both the video explaining how the sun moves, and then the video of the decode of the Analemma. And to me, this is a game changer because it's, this information is really hard to get, to find. I mean, I have to dig through like hours of really great content with certain people to find, moments and then piece it all together. There's plenty of videos out there showing the Analemma move through the sky in their own model, but it doesn't matter. So my video, I think, is the first one showing the Analemma moving through the sky on a level plane model.
I'll definitely be sure to link that in the show notes. But my question too on that, does that include the 13-month calendar?
So this is something that I've been trying to explore, is how does that fit into a 13-month calendar? And I don't have the answer. All I know is everything is base 12. So you have 12 musical notes, 12 major 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs, 12 major functions of your body. So how does a 13 fit into this whole month thing? All I personally have come up with is that it's not 13, it's 12 plus 1, because you have the 12 plus the sun, the 12 plus the sun. So
Yep.
the 1 would make the oneness.
Yes, and that's why I wonder if the 13th month is the, it's God, or that's like the rest month in the first place. So technically we still only have the 12 months of the year, with the 13th month as kind of outside of those 12. And I don't know how to explain that either, but it's the
it
same
could be
as
an allegory.
there's the same as in the Bible where they talk about, I don't know what they were, the apostles. I don't, please don't quote me, but the 12 on the boat and then the 1 on the shore. So that was the 13, and the 1 was God. And then the 12 on the boat, which I wish I could quote scripture perfectly, but I can't. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking too, is it's always the 12 plus the 1, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, there's just so much for us to know. And we just love learning about all these new things. I mean, they're not new things. They're our knowledge that's been kept from us. So it's neat finding people that have found the ways to unlock it and share it with the rest of us.
Yeah, well, it's been neat for me to figure it out. And I mean, I'm showing you guys stuff, or my channel stuff, as I figure it out. Like it's a process. It's not like I had it all figured out and now I'm just showing it. I had like the whole base of it, but I didn't have all the details in order to present it. And watching the details fall in place so that I could present it, like this sort of information, it's like, oh wow, it's more like a 3D puzzle than a 2D puzzle.
Well, I like how you have your little 3D diagram of what you just explained to us too. And do when you get these thoughts of how they come in, do they come in just like at random times, or is it like aha moments that you're getting them, or?
It's a little bit of everything. Sometimes information falls into place. Like what were the odds? Like this was a concept that I had for many years. I just didn't have all the words to explain it. And then what are the odds of all those 10 hours of David Straight's information? I fall upon the 2 minutes that he says this. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it just like, wow. And it's like, I gotta make the video.
Exactly. And that's where I was trying to lead to with that, is that there definitely are no mistakes. I mean, you were supposed to listen to it at that time because you were ready for it. And the way you break it down and explain it, it is hard for some people to listen to Santos Bonacci because they're not at that level to understand what he's saying. But then we got other people that can explain exactly what he's saying in a different way, that then you can time travel back to other people to help people understand what they're trying to say at their level. So I think it's wonderful how it all works out.
Yeah. And interesting, there's a post, it's post 144.
Mhm.
And at the beginning of it, I'm going to totally paraphrase, but it's basically saying how they needed to take a 40,000 foot view to see everything at a big earth-wide level. But then they have to decrease their altitude in order to not sound like a conspiracy.
Mhm.
So that's kind of it with my little diagram that I drew, is like we have to go back down to where they are, decrease the altitude. We can't stay at this altitude and yell with a megaphone.
Right.
You know, we have to go back down and do that time traveling.
Mhm.
Just the function. I'm not even saying go try to convince people. I'm saying just the function, you're having to do that. And by functioning with this new idea in mind, you'll likely resonate at a more helpful frequency, even if you said nothing.
Mhm. We believe very much that everything starts with the man in the mirror, and that's you, and you work on yourself, because again, as you even shown here, it is us, and us is the oneness that we're all trying to get to. So you work on yourself and you will in turn help the rest.
Yeah. So in case anyone is questioning, because I just threw out some level earth stuff there. There's another post, it's 2622. And someone asked, is the earth flat? And the answer was no. One plus 4 is 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. Now you have 56. Level equals 56. Okay, now this right here, 26, which is Z, Operation Z. Guess what else? God equals 26.
Mhm.
And right here, you have the 2, which is 4, which is always foundation. So right in here, you have God, foundation. Okay. Now 4 is always foundation, right?
Mhm.
That's they even say it in the book Kid by His Side Road. 4 is foundation. The biblical, in the Bible, 4 is considered foundation. Well, D is the 4th letter of the alphabet. Turn that D on its side. What do you have?
Oh, wow.
Imagine that.
There you go.
Imagine that. So this was kind of also a game changer for me. I was like, oh,
Yep.
okay, maybe I should stop worrying about talking about this and
Gonna
just
blow
start talking
somebody's
about
mind.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's right there. It's just we've never known how to decode it because we weren't ever taught how to decode it.
Just
So in
kept it
case I need to state it for other people, you have the sun, the light. It actually says light to rule the day, light to rule the night. Eventually it says the stars. And let us make man in our image. I think that's verse 1:8,
Mhm.
which is 18, which is which is 18. Yeah, it is verse 1:8, which is 18, which is me is 18, and head is 18. So what is this? This is your head.
Mhm.
Here's your firmament.
There you go.
Stars are your
Same.
synapses. I mean,
Everything.
I'm just showing you what it says.
Yeah. And it just comes to make more sense. It's like, hello.
Yep. And 8 plus 1 is 9.
9.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
and God, that's what 1:8 says. It says, and God called the firmament heaven. Because what did we just say? That 432 is your heaven, your celestial frequency.
Yep.
It is.
So heaven right within you. So if you choose.
Yeah, exactly. If you choose.
Well,
which also goes back to your 666. Which
choice.
one do you want?
Good or bad.
And of course, it's always just been for mainstream that it is always negative, just like the number 13 has always been negative.
Right. And, yeah. And now we know 13 is your 12 plus your 1.
And my birthday's on the 13th. So it should be a good number.
That's for sure. Nichole, thank you so much for this.
Yes.
And thank you so much for your time and your gnosis that you've shared with all of us. I don't know if anyone in the chat has any questions or any comments they want to really put in there or whatnot, but we greatly appreciate this, and we'll put the links down to your Telegram channel, and we'd love to explore more with you maybe sometime in the future, and just keep moving
absolutely.
along with this.
And I'm willing to take some questions if anyone comes up with any. I don't know how many people are on, but
we got 14 right now.
Hey,
that's
yay!
wonderful.
I know
that in the world.
Yeah, I know that Charlie said that he possibly might jump on, but I know that they're super busy, and I know Justin and Aaron are doing their thing, but Aaron Gorn, he was going to join. He was very interested in this, but I know that he had a lot going on this week as well. So maybe next time, but definitely everyone is very interested in your topics that you provide, and everybody has wonderful things to say about your channel.
Well, you make it so easy to understand, though. That's what is more helpful.
And I'll just throw out there the 97, the equator with the fish starting at the equator, 97, which comes to 60, which 60 is holy. Well, just FYI, Charlie Freak is 97.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We do have Toni Weel in the chat. Hi, Toni.
Hi, Toni.
She says that questions will come after watching the video a few more times. It's definitely a lot of gnosis, but it's like when you're listening to Charlie speak, it's you feel that you're hearing truth.
Yes.
And so when we're listening to you, that's how it felt as well too. It was like you were unlocking core memories for us or something that was buried very deep.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm hoping that what I've said to people is I'm actually trying to appeal to your logic, because if I appeal to your logic, you're going to put your left brain to rest for a minute. You're going to stop fighting. It's just going to feel okay to your left brain. And then your right brain is going to be allowed a window to go, oh, wait a second. This is kind of logical. So I've always thought of it like that, as I'm appealing to your logic, even though the goal is to get beyond just logic.
Yes, of course.
It's got to let that left side kind of break down so you can get through.
Yeah.
Unlock the door.
Nice if we could lock it up.
Yes.
I'm like lulling it to sleep. I'm like, look, numbers and logic. Go to sleep.
Exactly. Sometimes when they are doing the Gematria though, and I'm hearing them speak and it's all about the Gematria though, my brain is starting to like go to sleep and whatnot. And I know it's great gnosis, so I try very hard, but when all them numbers are coming through, I am getting kind of sleepy.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't want to do, is I didn't want to just pull up that thing and go, oh, it means this and it means that. And you start tuning out. I wanted to connect it to what it means in the real world. So a lot of the stuff I come up with is stuff that I came up with. Like I had to work the numbers to figure it out, because I wanted to see if a concept worked. And sometimes the concept doesn't work. I'm like, oh, that's not it. And then when it works like this, I mean, what are the chances? I was like, I want to know if there's a 432 that talks about, being a highest and being a frequency and being inside of you. And so I'm running all these words to see if I can get to a 432.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to highest possible frequency within you, 431. I was like, oh, a highest. Are you kidding? Like, because you can't fake it. It can't not make sense. You can't just put stuff together and it doesn't really make sense and call it something. So I'm trying to just connect it all in a way that's, logical, really.
Yeah. And just like everything else, just keep it simple.
Yep.
That's the way you're going to grab more people. That's for sure.
Well, God loves a trier, so definitely keep trying all those paths.
Yes.
Yeah, it is shocking on some of them. Like the Analemma, a pine tree.
Never.
And you just want to tell the world. You're like, oh my gosh, guys, I just figured it out. When I figured out hydrogen, are you kidding me? I was like, I just cured everything with that. That's how I was like, I just cured everything with hydrogen being, 96, inverse 69 balance, pH being your potential hydrogen.
Oh,
and I'm like, guys, no, listen. I'm like, so excited.
Oh, we definitely would love to hear about that as well too. So if you want to ever scream it out, we're here to listen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be a whole other video. That's a whole other topic. I did do a live with Justin on that topic, but it would be fun to go back to it and do it again, because there's more stuff that's come since. But so some of the things, it seems almost a little unfair is how I end up feeling, is like I have to tell people, even if it hurts, even if I tell someone, they're like, what? I'm like, I don't care. I have to tell you.
Well, at least you get them thinking,
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just.
And even if they weren't ready to hear it at that time, it might be something that might resonate later, or it might be something they might go and, say to somebody else that resonates with them. So as long as it's just out there in the universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So had to just kind of take the mental chains off and start putting this information out there and see what happens.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you sure can't harm anyone. That's for sure. You might wake them up.
Yeah.
Sometimes waking up hurts, but it's got to be though. So.
Yeah, and some concepts are very hard for, the idea of everything is within you. It can be very hard if you've been, raised in a Baptist church, let's say, and you take everything, you're trained to take everything literally. And what I'll just say to that is just remember that those priests and pastors were trained in seminaries and colleges that were run, owned, influenced by the Rockefellers, the cabal. So they were taught incorrectly in order to keep you off the path just a little bit. This is 1 degree. You just change your perspective 1 degree and you have a whole different outlook. So if they just kept you off just a bit, if you're in a boat and that boat is just off by 1 degree, you end up on a different island than you were trying to go to.
Exactly. They sure had it well planned out, didn't they?
Yeah. So I just always challenge people to go, before you dismiss, just remember who taught you to think that way. Charlie does it really well at saying you have to relearn how to read.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Like you need to start over at the right school this time.
Yeah. So some of the information, or even the level earth information, people will be, oh, I'm with you until that. And
Yeah.
then like, if there's a that, then, that's your cross. That's the thing you got to look at most.
And I look at that too as stepping stones for a lot of people is, they may not be ready for that gnosis at that time yet, but it will eventually come as they're taking all their stepping stones to get to where they need to be. Because that, as you've shown, when you roll the clock out and you make it horizontal, there is no time limit on getting up to the 432 hertz. You have eternity to get there.
Right.
So it's up to you how long you want to stay within that area. It's everyone's dream.
Right.
Yes. Well, Nichole, thank you so much. We won't take up any more of your time right now. And there's none other questions that came through, but hopefully it's just because a lot of people's minds are blown right now. Actually, we did have one that just came in from Shelley. I learned better by sight. Came on in the 10 minutes, and after that was something I could understand. Going back to watch the whole show. Thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, definitely check out Nichole's channel. They break down 1718 over on Telegram, and I will definitely have it linked. I think it's already actually linked in the show notes, but you over there you can see all of her other videos she's put together, and plus all of her posts too.
Oh, and I put them all together in my pinned messages. So they're you can find all the videos in one post.
Perfect.
So just go to my pinned messages. So there's this group of videos, there's the Level Earth group of videos, and the Stellar group of videos, which the comms on Stellar, that's a whole other conversation that needs to be had. So it's in the pinned messages. So that should be the easiest place to find it.
Okay.
And if you go, I don't know if people know this, but they has the little, when you go to the pinned messages, it has these arrows, and you click the arrow and it scrolls through the pinned messages. Okay. So that's how you get to the next pinned message and the next pinned message.
Perfect. I'm pretty good at reading Telegram, but I'm still not been using Telegram. So I'm learning too as we go with that. But wonderful platform to get the gnosis I think we're all looking for. Nichole, thank you again so much. And thank you for everyone that tuned in to listen. And thank you for everyone in the chat. We appreciate everyone. And until next time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, Nichole.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.